Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Millennium Sparrow, and if you're new here, I am in love with this game. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a cozy version of Stardew Valley that is all Disneyfied, and I'm obsessed. So, over the last 27 videos, we have been doing a randomly chosen design challenge. I let a set of dice decide what house I'm building, or I should say decorating, um, in the valley or around the valley, and what biome we're using or putting it in. Wow, guys, I can't even explain the game. So what we're going to do is just kind of pop in here and grab our work clothes. This is my little closet space that I've got on the second floor of my house. I'm a little obsessed with it. It's very... I wish I could put more mannequins out. Alright, so let's head out into the valley. It is nighttime. What I'm going to do is actually offset the graphics so it's a little brighter out here. There we go. Okay. Now that it's daytime, the first roll of the dice brought us Tiana's house in the Frosted Heights. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I had been wanting to do a... Wow. I had wanted to do a train station for a while, and that was before the design came out in the premium shop. I didn't end up getting that, but I used the stained glass greenhouse and Tiana's house along with her stagecoach car to create a little train station that heads into the tunnel behind it into the mountain. And now that I've finished Oswald's quest, I do have some train track that I can use to lay it out in here. So this was the first challenge, Tiana's house in the Frosted Heights. Let me give you a overhead view. And so this is really how my challenge kicked off. A little bit of background, this is my third full valley build, and I do use every character house available in the build in some way, whether it be the front, the back, in this case the side and the back, to create the design. It's been kind of a fun challenge so far. We're about halfway through, and one of the challenges is not knowing what's coming next, so you kind of have to keep giving yourself space and meld the design together. All right, so now that we've looked at the first one, let's go to our second roll, and that was the Cheshire Cat Tree on Dazzle Beach. So let me head over there. All right, so with the Cheshire's tree on the beach, this big old red tree, I decided to end up using the grassy area of the beach to create a maze. It was the first time I got to use the Alice in Wonderland hedge kit. So you come on in straight into his little entrance. He'll talk to you, give you bad directions. But as you go through the maze, you see different little elements. I'm trying to put the dioramas from Olaf's exhibition throughout the valley in some way. That's a little bit of a challenge in itself. So I used a lot of Alice in Wonderland items in this part, but still gave myself access to that cave. I blocked off some of the resources, but not all of them. These are all my little critters with clothes. And then Absalom. And so let's take a look from the sky view. And I'll show you what it looks like coming down from the peaceful meadow. Because I did use, kind of started building this up like a luxury beach resort. But it all started with the maze. And so coming down, you see his big ol' smiling face. Okay, so that was challenge number 2. All right, so my third design challenge that the dice gave me made me question if this was going to even be possible. And it was Eric's castle in the Frosted Heights. And if you're familiar with Eric's castle, he is got some palm trees and it's very pink and probably belongs on the beach. But I turned it into a resort type deal, and I really wish now that I had the ski lift because I think it would look really cute all mixed in here. And if you look past the seating area, you can kind of see there's an ice skating rink back there, hot tub. Now that currently is accessible from back here, so you can still get the resources if needed or get inside his house. Those are just the little details back here. Let me go ahead and show that one from the top. I kind of centered it around this pond and then built it out. The back of his castle is what's facing outward. And then to kind of bring it together over here, I've got a little food truck and kind of a gathering zone. Alice's house came later, so that wasn't part of this original little piece. And that's how we put Prince Eric's castle in the Frosted Heights. All right, now coming back onto the beach, our fourth challenge was Daisy's Boutique on Dazzle Beach. And this is where the luxury beachfront kind of boardwalk area started. And so I've got her building along with the Arendelle kind of entry archway. This leads into Cheshire's maze, and then this is kind of a seating area with some of the furniture you earn from, or you purchase, I suppose, from Eric, and then build. Now, I did build this up in the hopes that eventually, in this last half, we'll get another big building down here to kind of give us the anchor. But for our fourth design, or my fourth challenge, we have Daisy's Boutique on the beach. So let me pull this back. And kind of very simple, but I think it's gonna hopefully really come together. Now, challenge number 5 brought us our first build in the peaceful meadow, and we rolled Mulan's house. And I had always created a training camp for her, and I wanted to do something that was a little more relaxing, and that has become the trend for most of these designs as a almost vacation or kind of getaway for the characters in the valley, which it really should be. So this is Mulan's getaway. The archway, I believe, is from the Lady and the Tramp star path, but I just love the little petals that it has for animation mixed in with the magnolia trees. Of course, she's still got her sword. And it's framed with the Dreamlight fruit trees. I also like the sparkle that those kind of rain down. So that is Mulan in the peaceful meadow. Now, the next one I was pretty excited about. We rolled Snow White's Cottage for the Forest of Valor. Hey, Jack. And I really wanted to utilize these trees in some spooky kind of fashion. And just because we can, let me switch the time of day back to nighttime. So you can kind of really see how it looks spooky and is a nod to the original animated film. So you've managed to get through the spooky woods and you come into this colorful, beautiful, warm, and cozy little cottage. I've got the Olaf's Exhibition critter home that you get for the Peaceful Meadow completion. I'm going to switch us back to daylight. Kind of see some more details. There's not very many fireplaces you can put outside, but this is one of them. I do like to mix in the fruit trees in my designs. I don't have an orchard. But yeah, this one is probably one of my favorites in this whole build. Let's switch to overview. So it's kind of it's layered in there, but it takes up almost half of this forest section over here. And that was again number 6. Number 7, let me all right, number 7 again made me question why I was doing this challenge. I got Moana's house in the Forgotten Lands. And we all know the Forgotten Lands is dark. And so what I ended up doing is, it took a minute, but kind of created a Realm of Monsters vibe with the volcano we got in one of the recent star paths. And I adore it. I just love how it came out. The immovable gems are back there. We've got our lava flow. There's a waterfall. It's very Lalotai. And that is our 7th challenge. But again, probably one of my favorites. Okay, so the 8th roll of our dice gave us mini casita in the peaceful meadow. And we all know mini casita is not mini. So she got a little dedicated corner over here. The tulips are from the premium shop. I absolutely adore these. I put the portal, rainbow portal over here because I thought it fit with the coloring. And then also, we've got this little diorama of Maribel, and you can kind of see it from the beach. It's not something you see from the front of this build. But I like to make sure they look good from every view. And so I've also finished it off with Carl and Ellie's dream balloon. So let me give us a bird's eye view. Some hidden Mickeys in there in the bushes. And we got mini casita taking up majority of this corner of the peaceful meadow. Now you can see mini casita from the beach, but I think it adds to the vibe up there. Okay. Now, I do not own any of the river kits. I just haven't had an inkling to get them yet. So there's only so many places we can put the water buildings. And I did roll Ursula's cave for the Glade of Trust at least twice. And I skipped it the first time. I re-rolled. I gave myself that option at least 5 times in this whole adventure because there's 54 houses. People have to be able to have some control. So I've got Ursula's cave in the Glade of Trust, and I've done it where she wasn't the focus, and I've had it where she was the focus. And this time I kind of kept it so she was the focus. But what I made it into was, again, kind of a resort or escape or getaway, and she's in this little love ruins area. This is a house skin. I believe it was with a moonstone pack. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I will say this is not my favorite design that I've done in this challenge, but we got it done. And I used one of my house skins in it. So, again, there's not many options with Ursula once you've done it on the beach and you've done it in the Glade of Trust. But I am happy with how it ultimately came out. It's almost like, oh, it looks too good to be true. Medusa's definitely hiding in there kind of situation. All right, so on to our 10th challenge. Okay, so for our 10th challenge roll, we got, pardon me, Wally's truck on Dazzle Beach. And I dedicated this whole little island over here to him. This is the sea turtle. What would be exhibit? Exhibit? I don't know. All kinds of fun party lights. One of the dioramas once again. And just fun. Like a little party over with Stitch. Kind of really leaned into the party lights that he had on the truck. And then those came also from the lights around the sea turtle. So there's Wally's truck on Dazzle Beach, our 10th design build. I am lying. That is number 9. Ursula's Glade of Trust ends up being number 19. So I re-rolled it on 9, and then she was also number 19. Well, you got the preview of that one early. Okay. The real number 10. What's that way? All right, for the 10th roll of the dice set, we have Goofy's house in the Glade of Trust, and this again turned out much better than I expected, and I'm in love with it. I'm probably going to rebuild this somewhere else when we redo this, or when I finally done this build, and tear it apart again as I do. You never really look up at Mother Gothel's treehouse anyway. You can't move it. You can still access it if we need to, but it makes a good backdrop for the little fishing island. Let me go ahead and do an overhead view. And again, remember to do all sides. So you've got Goofy fishing over here, and his little campfire and cooking stuff on the back. So you do block off that walkway, but I don't use it that much anyway. So that was number 10. Goofy's house in the Glade of Trust. Number 11, we rolled. Let me go there. All right, number 11 rolled Scar's Cave on Dazzle Beach. And again, I kind of leaned into the getaway resort vacation vibes. So we put Grumpy Kitty on the beach. Used some of the rocks from Storybook, Vall DLC to extend this area and almost give it a cove-like feel. And then gave our Grumpy Kitty a little beach getaway. I've also got Mochi's house over here. He's assigned to it, but I think I had him out and about, so he might not be showing right now. So that is Scar's Cave on Dazzle Beach. We'll do an overhead view of that one. All right. Number 12, we rolled Gaston's Lodge for the Glade of Trust. And I kind of used the pond as an anchor and created a boys club, outdoor pub feel. It's got a general store, some horse hitching posts, little kind of market. Of course, a clock tower. Kind of made him anchor this corner of the Glade of Trust. We'll zoom out on this one. I did put a water tower in the back. Kind of helped build out that area. And then the rest is just basically decorations. So that was number 12, Gaston's Lodge in Glade of Trust. For our 13th challenge, we got Headquarters Tower in Sunlit Plateau. And I used the Naboo house skin to create almost a space depot. You've got just a combination of spaceships parked out here. Wanted kind of a Star Wars feel. A little will-o-wisps running away. And so it kind of starts the design for the Sunlit Plateau over in this corner. I like being able to see the towers, so I try to give the line of sight the ability to see them as you come into the biome. Here's a sky view of this one. The Aurora is actually in Forgotten Lands. It's just extended over this part. Alright, so that is number 13, Headquarters Tower in the Sunlit Plateau. Alright, and our 14th challenge rolled Beast's Castle in the Peaceful Meadow. And I really wanted to stick with the resort vibe. And I used the floral archways along with Beast's flower stall to kind of create a garden villa, utilizing the other sides of the castle. Here's the above view. Looking up from the beach, you can see the front side of the castle, but you don't tend to look that way that often. It's right in line with Scars, so you only see the edges for the most part. And then, of course, a little flower market right there. So that is the 14th design build with Beast Castle in Peaceful Meadow. We were blessed by the dice gods and got Cruella's Mansion in the Forgotten Lands as our 15th challenge. I had a lot of fun with this one. Again, I wanted to be able to see the whole thing coming in and give Miss Cruella her own grand entrance. Now, I do have it set up where there's this little walkway that leads right over to Moana's Motunui, not Motunui, Lalotai design. And then, depending on how the rest of the dice roll, we'll see what comes up. But then we have Cruella's Mansion in the Forgotten Lands. Here's the overhead view of that. I like how modular most of the building pieces are from Wish Blossom. It makes it really easy to put a block together like that. The 16th design role was Merida's cottage on Dazzle Beach. This one again was a little unique. I ended up anchoring her against the dock and again giving her her own little beach getaway since she's been so stuck beating off suitors for so long. And then along the back we've got her family crest and a nice little hammock to relax in. I've got the well tucked in here. This is Merida's cottage on Dazzle Beach. Dazzle Beach is filling up quite quickly. Again, I'm still trying to save this area for a potential luxury zone, but we've got Merida tucked in here. And then also Goofy's stall kind of mixed in as this in this transitional area. Popping back into the Frosted Heights, the 17th challenge gave us Alice's cottage in the Frosted Heights. And so I leaned into the pink with Eric's castle and kind of kept this resort ski area going without the ski lift and tucked her little cottage in here. I think the thatched roof mixed in with the rest of it looks really cute. From this side of the river, you can kind of see her front door. And then coming across the river over here, you still have a nice little walkway into our clock tower and our train station. So let's zoom out of Alice's house. Challenge 17. I was really happy with how this one turned out too. The 18th rolls gave us the Plaza and Vanellope's house. I've featured Vanellope's house front and center in my last two builds. So in this one, I wanted to make it a little more subtle, and I've used the Lotus House and some items from Wish Blossom Ranch to create the start of hopefully almost a Renaissance Fair festival type area up here in the plaza. I can still get to her house back there, but for the most part, it's a little mountain behind our gaming area. So let's pop this out and you can kind of see the view from above. So this is the start of our festival. Now I did add a little walkway in the back behind there, kind of a tunnel-esque to make it a little fun. But that is our Vanellope in the plaza build. Okay, number 19 is the one we showed earlier, which is the Ursula's Cave and Glade of Trust, so I'm not going to go over that again. And now let's head down to the Okay, so challenge number 20 was Merlin's Tower in the Peaceful Meadow. The problem I have with Merlin's Tower is it's not very big. So to kind of fit it into this design without looking out of place, I had it facing the beach. She's got his little telescope and everything back there. And then this side kind of leans into the cliff type vibe. It gives us a cute little fill-in spot for that area near Mini Casita. All right, we're almost done with our recap. Number 21. For number 21, we finished up this little area of the Forest of Valor with Anna's Castle. Now, this little entrance I made with the Arendelle archway item. Coming into here, you've got your 4 elements, stones, a nice little frozen water fountain, and then the castle itself. It originally was straight ahead up here, and then I also had it in the Forgotten Lands in my first build, one of my favorite designs, but I really do like this cute little tucked away one in the forest over here. You can still get to Elsa's cave. They're kind of hanging out near each other. This leads up to the back of the Frosted Heights still. So again, all the different views still give us a great little area for Anna. And Kristoff, and Olaf, and Sven. If I can finally, you know, assign him to Kristoff, that'd be great. So this is the above view of the frozen area. Number 22 rolled us Mickey's house on Dazzle Beach. And his tiny little house, I was able to tuck in to this little area. And we've got our path leading past his house to Merida's, and then even further through to our little resort area, hopefully over there. And then I kind of gave him just some fun outside and his little, you know, maybe a swan boat him and Minnie go out on. But this is Mickey's house on the beach. Because again, we're trying to fit 54 plus houses and buildings in this valley, so it's gonna be tight. Our 23rd roll gave us Godmother's Pumpkin in the Sunlit Plateau. Ooh, a little crazy with the spinning. So I put her down over here in this corner. We added Wally's little garden and kind of a little market. And I am liking how that's anchoring this side of the river. Well, they've got our little space depot type thing going on the other side. And that view from the meadow up into the Sunlit Plateau has Wally's archway, and I think it just kind of adds to the Renaissance Fair vibes. So that's Godmother's Pumpkin in the Sunlit Plateau. Number 24 is Eve's ship in the plaza. To lean into the festival, Renaissance Fair type vibe, I made this into almost the kids section. Kitty Kingdom, whatever you want to call it, with her spaceship kind of anchoring behind it. We got games, all kinds of different, popcorn stand, things to do. Utilized a lot of Toy Story items over here. So this is Eve's little kitty playground area. We are rounding out to number 25, which is Lady and the Tramp's house in the Peaceful Meadow. This is another small one. So I used it in this little corner. I've got their little eating table out here, and of course the wood-fired grill. And then I used the little critter home from Wish Blossom Ranch to add some more characters over here, and I think it adds a cute little extension of Lady and the Tramp's area. So let's go ahead and do the above view on that one. Very easy. Oops. One of the most recent ones is Rapunzel's Tower in the Forest of Valor. And really, I just want to start off by showing it from Peaceful Meadow. So again, Renaissance Fair vibes. You can kind of see the tower up there and the lanterns and maybe another big old building. Coming up into here, we've got the Snuggly Duckling house skin, which I recently got, and I set up a little bar outside. Loving how that looks. The Forest of Valor Critter House from Olaf's exhibition. I've got anchored here. And then there's this like almost little hidden walkway back into where we've got Rapunzel's Tower and the Sun Temple, along with a Wish Blossom flower, which I feel like all kind of go together with the magic of this little golden flower over here. Let me go ahead and zoom out for this view. So it's this main section of Forest of Valor. And then our final, that is actually, there's only 26. I've been saying 27 the whole time, but I have not started design number 27. The next design coming in will be Ariel's Castle and the Sunlit Plateau, and there is only one pond that fits in. So if you'd like to see how that comes out, make sure you hit subscribe and follow for more. Thanks, guys.